Hello, everybody. This is Mark from metalforever.com. We're waiting tonight. We have a special guest. We're waiting for Sammy D to dial in from Ruthless. They have a new CD that just came out called They Rise, and Sammy D's calling in. Should be here checking in any minute. Sammy D, is this Sammy D?
This is Sammy D.
Hey, Sammy D, it's Mark from metalforever.com. Thanks so much for joining. We're excited to have you as our guest this evening. So thanks a lot. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Mark. I mean, it's been a whirlwind thing here. I've been doing interviews left and right here lately, and I'm enjoying it.
That's great. That's great. Well, hey, it's better to be talked about in the news and in the metal press than not, right?
Oh yeah. You know, I mean, it's like, especially, you know, going at it as long as we have, it's like to be still wanted is cool with us, you know.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So I know the band has a long history, and I know you all go way back. However, and I know normally I guess we would start there, but I thought because you got a new CD on the streets, and I think you told me right before the call here that it's literally out for not even 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
They Rise. Yeah.
Yeah, it came out. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's start there. So let's start with it. Tell us about the new CD. When did it come out, and how's the early reaction been so far?
Well, it came out, like I said, about 3 weeks ago. January 30th actually is when they released it, and it had a really good pre-sale sales going on. It was awesome, and it's the reaction has just been fantastic. It's like everybody that we talk to has just been, you know, like I said, it's been fantastic. I don't know what else more to say about it.
Yeah, awesome. That's good. And how does this release, I guess, either compare to some of the stuff you guys have done in the past, and you know, how is it similar? And I guess in other ways, how do you feel like maybe it's different, or maybe it's evolved?
Well, I think it's evolved quite a bit. I think it shows we're more of a mature band now. I mean, back then, I think our earlier releases like Metal Without Mercy and Discipline of Steel, I think were really good albums, and in fact, people say they're classic albums, and that's cool with me. I think though that They Rise is in itself is going to be a classic, and it's just the music on there is shows more, like I said, of a maturity of the writing and everything, and we're very happy with it.
Yeah. So for those that haven't had a chance to check it out yet, or for those that maybe aren't as familiar with some of your older stuff, how do you typically describe your style of metal to metal fans?
Well, we would call it, as today they call it, true metal. It's like you know, the same vein as Judas Priest and Accept and Saxon. It's true metal.
Yeah, agreed. I noticed that you all have some clips of some of your live shows up on YouTube and things, and by all accounts, people are, you know, definitely fist pumping. They're certainly singing along to, you know, the tunes, and actually some of the newer stuff that you guys have recorded, and it just seems like people are really kind of, you know, understand the songs. So I mean, how does that feel, kind of going into some of these shows and playing some of the new stuff?
Oh, it's awesome. I think, like you say, the reaction of the crowds when we play a show and I'm up there singing and the crowd's singing along with me. It's fantastic. There's not a better feeling in the world than that. And it's just to see them be able to sing the old songs, the Metal Without Mercy, Gates of Hell, Discipline of Steel, and all that stuff, and then come back and they're already singing the lyrics to the new songs, and it's just a really great feeling.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the tracks on the new They Rise. Are there a couple that automatically you feel like you know, are either fan favorites or ones that you guys are excited to play live, or are there a couple tracks that just stand out, or ones that worthy of mention, and why?
Well, the first track, Defender, is one of my favorites, and it seems so far to be a fan favorite too. And another track, Hangman, is that's the one that everybody seems to really like a lot. And they're just fist pumping metal, and it's something that if I was a fan of the band, I could get into.
Yeah. I've checked them out. I agree, and heavy riffs and just almost. Would it be fair to say a little grit to them as well? Almost. I mean, not in a negative way, but almost like in a raw kind of pure metal kind of way. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd agree with that 100%. They're very as you say, raw, and that's the way that's the style that Ruthless has always been. It's just straight in your face, fist pumping metal, and it's always been that way, and it always will be that way.
Yeah. So, Sammy D, can you take us back in time a little bit, and can you speak just a little bit about kind of way back when the band was first formed, kind of what you all experienced during some of those early days, and then what were some of the things that kind of happened between? I know you mentioned almost 30 years, right, since you Ruthless has been a band. So can you kind of take us back in time and talk a little bit about early days and when the band was formed and kind of what you experienced back then, and then we can kind of maybe talk a little bit about the timeline and how we get to present day.
Okay. It's the band was formed actually in 1982, and we all of us had been in several different bands before, and Kenny and I had in fact played in several different bands together, and we got back together again and decided let's try it, let's give it another try here, and we put out some ads for another guitar player and a bass player and a drummer, and guitar player and drummer came together as a team. It was Todd Billings and Roland Schroeder, and Jack Black, the bass player, came on in, and it just the band clicked right away. I mean, we started writing songs from the first time we were together, and we recorded Metal Without Mercy together, and we had some good times. We played. The scene back then was a lot different than it is now. We played a lot of shows with a lot of the bands that are really famous today, like Slayer and Great White and Rat and all of them. It was a great scene back then.
Yeah. Definitely. So what was the gap, the time frame then between this current release and the release that you had previous? How many years have been in between?
Since Discipline of Steel, it's been 28 years.
Okay, wow. So that was the last release that you had was 28 years ago, and then
yes.
Dave Buys is the one that's after. So if I may ask, what was the band kind of doing in between all that time? Were you guys doing other projects, or as a combination of everything?
Well, we split up. In fact, the lineup changed hands several times. Kenny and I have always been in the band together, but the lineup changed hands several times. And in 1989, we just kind of called it quits for a while. And I was kind of getting interested in other styles. I was more going toward a thrash metal band. And in fact, I had one that I had just formed, and Kenny was just wasn't into that. So we split up musically, is what it was. And the band didn't get back together until 2008. Kenny and I have been friends ever since then. We've been in other bands, we've done other projects and stuff like that, but the band was just kind of dormant until in 2008.
Okay, got it. And then in 2008, did you start playing some live shows? Is that kind of what started first, and along the way started recording again, or did you just start playing shows and then just record all at once? How did that process work?
Well, the lineup that we had back then when the band got back together, what it was is that I was jamming with Jim Durkin from Dark Angel. We were doing a little project, little recording project, and I got a message from email from Oliver from the Keep It True Fest in Germany, and he'd asked me if Ruthless would get back together and come and play the festival. And I said, well, I don't know. I haven't talked to any of the guys except for Kenny for years. So I called up Kenny, and he'd kept in touch with our bass player Jack, and he talked to him, and 2 days later we decided to go ahead and do it. And so we got ourselves a drummer, asked Jim if he'd come and play the other guitar, because we couldn't find any of the other guitar players, and there's a couple of them we didn't want, so I'm being nice, actually. And we went to Germany. We played a few shows together. We came back. We played a few more shows, and the band split up. The recording didn't start until this lineup here.
Okay,
huh?
Great. Sammy, I just got dropped myself, but I think you stayed on, so that was good. So we got your answer to that, so I appreciate it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, sorry about that on my end. But
that's okay.
Continuing on. So what I know you mentioned also, as we spoke just a little bit before the call, that you've got a 3 CD arrangement with your label, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Can you explain that? Yeah. What kind of deal have you signed, and how long a term, and what do you anticipate kind of the span between the releases that you have planned in the future?
Well, to tell you the truth, we're already working on new material now, and yeah, we do, as I said, we've signed for 3 CDs. This one here, we've got 2 more to do for them, and I don't know about the time frame. They haven't given us a time frame on it yet, but we do. I'm sure they do expect us to get back in here very soon. I haven't talked with Marcus or Andreas lately, but I'm sure that they want us to get back in here soon. But this has just been released, so give it a little time. Let it breathe a little bit before we push something else on top of it. But we are writing new material right now.
Okay. And can you tell fans a little bit about the label? Which label are you on? And it's great that they're obviously committed to you all for multiple releases. I imagine that's got to feel pretty good to you all as well.
Oh yeah. The Pure Steel Records is the label. They're based out of Germany. They're a great company. I mean, we're happy to be with the label. There's a lot of bands that are on the label that like Cage and quite a few others. Explore. A lot of bands from back when we first started are on this label, and it's a great label. And we're, like I said, we're just very happy to be with them.
That's awesome. Can you speak a little bit? I know you mentioned earlier in the call about kind of the vibe and how things were different in the 80s, I guess, when the band first formed, and obviously there was a heyday of heavy metal, and many would argue it went away for a little bit, and of course, I don't know if there was a resurgence or, I mean, it never really died, but, you know, how do you compare the metal scene today? Are you seeing younger fans come? Are you seeing it's all maybe nostalgic based or a combination of both? How can you compare the 2 eras?
I think back then it was like you said, you couldn't walk down Sunset Boulevard even on a Tuesday night. It was just jam packed with people. It was a great time, and it was a great time for metal, you know. But I think today, as you say, the resurgence, I think is the kids. We're seeing the kids coming to the clubs wearing stuff that we wore back in the 80s and stuff, and it's cool. They're dressing like that, and the younger bands are taking up the sound of the original sound and everything, and it's awesome. I think it's going to come back very strong, and it is coming back very strong.
Yeah, that's good news, obviously, for metal fans such as myself and people that would listen to this interview and check out your releases. And obviously, I think you look at the festival circuit too, correct? That seems to be last 3-4 summers kind of really exploding, and the metal-themed cruise ships that are going out. There's just a lot more options as well. So speaking to some of that,
oh yeah,
what are some of your live show plans? Are you looking at festivals? Are you looking at touring? Are you looking at hitting some of the the boat cruises that are out there, or a combination of all? Can you speak to the live date plans that you have?
Well, a combination of everything, really. We've got quite a few festivals starting to trickle in. I don't have the dates yet, but most of them are going to be for next year. We have a couple this year. We are playing the Headbangers Open Air in Germany in July, and that's going to be a great one. They've got Death Angel on there and Hyrax and quite a few other bands. It's going to be a great show. But yeah, we are planning on playing quite a few more festivals. We have a lot of dates that are being lined up right now, and I can't. I wish I could give them to you, but I can't because I don't have them myself. But
sure.
we'll be very busy in the next few years here.
That's awesome. How was your release party? I think that was, I guess, not too long ago. Oh, I'm sorry, it's coming up, right? March 14th.
Yeah, it's coming up. It'll be March 14th. It's in a small little club here in Carson, California. It's a few industry people, a few friends, a few family, and a few of our fans coming in and stuff, and it's going to be a great night. We're going to be also that night premiering a new T-shirt that's coming out. That's the album cover. It's going to be a fantastic T-shirt, but it's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a fun night.
Yeah, the artwork for the CD is definitely heavy metal all the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's the whole. You could tell everything you guys got going is classic metal in so many ways, and always, correct?
Well, exactly. That's you know what, we didn't want to stray. We wanted to update everything, but we wanted to stay ruthless, and we wanted to stay with the way metal is always, to us, metal has always been, and metal with us has always been, like I said, the Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, that's metal to us, and that's the way we wanted to stay. We wanted Ruthless to be ruthless still. So and the CD cover is fantastic. Dietmar Nikolov is a fantastic artist. In fact, we're planning on using him again. So I love his work.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned Priest, you mentioned Maiden. Where do you feel like you draw your vocal influences from? I mean, you certainly notice a little Halford influence in what you do. Are there other artists, metal bands that you guys have kind of drawn your influences from? I know you came out along the same time some of these bands did, but can you speak to your vocal style and influences in that regard?
My first vocal influence is Ian Gillan. I loved the first time I heard him sing stuff like Child in Time and Highway Star and stuff. I said, I've got to do that. I've got to. That's what I want to do. And he's the first, and then there's Ronnie Dio. There's several. You can put Rob Halford in there. I love them all.
Did you happen to see Judas Priest on their recent tour? Did you catch any of their dates?
Yeah, I did. The one here in L.A. That was it was a great show. I loved it. I think I miss KK. But I'll tell you what, it's they still kick ass. Yeah,
in many ways, Richie Faulkner kind of seems like he breathed a little fresh life into that
band. He did. Richie gave him a lot of life. I don't mean to interrupt you there. Richie gave him a lot of life, and you can see it. You can see it in their performance, and hear it in their music too.
Totally. And if I may ask, you mentioned also you're seeing, along with bands from the 80s that you had mentioned previously, there's obviously younger bands that are out that you see playing and maybe opening some shows for you or vice versa. Are there some younger bands that you're kind of, you guys are digging and kind of into that you think look bright for kind of the future of metal as well?
Well, there's not really. There's one band that I've seen several times. They've been just a few years. They're called Brain Dead. They're really a killer band. I love them. They kind of got a old school thrashy style. And there's quite a few others though that I think people will be noticing pretty soon.
Agreed. So now I guess I know you're based in California, LA area. Is that technically where your band is from? Is based out in California?
Yeah. Ruthless actually started in Orange County, California. We in Anaheim. We is where Kenny and I put the band together at, and the band is based out of Glendora, like I said, which is outside of LA. Everybody's locally here. Nobody's flying in from out of state or anything like that. But yeah, we're all local.
Great. And you certainly see yourself. You mentioned some festivals over in Germany. Like, do you think you definitely try to play live in Europe as much as you can, along with playing here in the States, or do you think you'd be a little more stateside focused as it relates to live dates going forward?
Well, right now, I know that they're lining up dates for us here in the U.S. We're gonna try and hit as much of the U.S. as we can. Like I said, we're playing HOA in Germany in July, and then next year we're gonna really hit it hard in Europe and South America.
Oh wow, great! That's awesome. And last question, I guess, as it relates to just some of the artists in your band. Kenny McGee, you mentioned as a guitarist, he was one of the original ones along with you, correct? Starting the band.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Kenny and I.
Okay. Yeah, and how do you compare and contrast Kenny from Dave, the other guitarist in the band?
Well, Kenny's got more of a I would say a Wolf Hoffman type style, guitar playing. If I'm going to compare him to somebody, and Dave is just he's a little more technical, but they just flow very well together. Their styles are just it's you get those two different styles of guitar players in one band, and sometimes it doesn't work. This time it worked. And like I say, Dave's he's a fantastic guitar player. So is Kenny.
That's great. And I guess we're living in the age of social and digital media. So where can fans find you? I obviously I see your Facebook page, and I know you have band websites. So can you tell fans where to go to kind of follow you all, keep up on what's going on, and get your music?
Yeah, actually, we have a new Reverb Nation site. It's Ruthless Metal USA, all slashed all together there. Ruthless Metal USA at Reverb Nation, and you can go there now and hear a lot of our tunes. You can go to Facebook, like you said, Ruthless Metal USA there, and then there's our .com page, Ruthless Metal, and then you can also get us on Instagram too.
Cool. Are you guys on Twitter also, or not Twitter yet?
No, we're not on Twitter. Not yet.
Fair enough. So obviously between Facebook, ruthlessmetal.com, and some of the other sites that you just mentioned, a lot of places for fans to check you out. And then where can they download your music? I assume by now you're up on like iTunes and Amazon.com and all the places you'd find. iTunes, CD Baby, Amazon, all of those. They can download all the tunes from there. Anyone, in fact, there's a couple hundred of them. Those things are popping up all over the place anymore. Yeah, there's no doubt. And well, I've been excited to the stuff I've heard from this release it's been great. It's been refreshing in many ways. Just like because sometimes you metal fans from the '80s you miss the old school feel, but having it, like you said, refreshed and updated, and it's just really fresh, and it sounds it's just classic metal. It's the only way to describe it from my perspective. So, is there anything else you want to tell fans that maybe we didn't cover or talk about, or anything else you want to promote before we conclude this interview today?
Well, one thing I would like to say is without you and your the media, the metal media and the metal fans, Ruthless wouldn't be here today. In fact, metal wouldn't be here today. It's the fans. Metal fans are the greatest in the world, and the most loyal there is. And I don't care what anybody says; they are the most loyal fans there is in the whole world. And we love coming out and being in front of them, and in front of you guys, and it's a great feeling being up there and hearing you appreciate what we're doing on stage. And we will be coming to a city near you very soon.
Well, awesome. It's well said. And Sammy D, a lot of hopefully you get old fans that are refound your music and are excited you're back, and along with new fans that maybe hadn't remembered you all back in the 80s, or maybe they weren't even around back then. Who knows? Possibly.
Yeah.
But it's exciting and it's refreshing, and I really appreciate your time and taking time out to speak to us. And we'll get these up posted soon, and we'll send you the links, and hopefully we get a chance to see you out there on the road as well. And wishing you guys much success, and I really appreciate your time tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. I mean, this like I said, you're one of the best. This is one of the best interviews I've had. Thank you very much.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that, Sammy D. So, well, thank you so much. We'll conclude this call, and again, hopefully we'll have a chance to talk again in the future. So, metalforever.com, Audio Boom, Metal Forever. And Sammy D from Ruthless, wishing the band all the best luck, and thank you very much. We'll hopefully see you out there on the road.
All right, Mark.
Take care. Have a great evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.